Our opening words today are from Muhammad Iqbal. Where in our hearts is the burning of desire? It is true that we are made of dust, and the world is also made of dust, but the dust has motes rising. Whence comes that drive in us? We look to the starry sky, and love storms in our hearts. Whence comes that storm? The journey of love is a very long journey, but sometimes with a sigh you can cross that vast desert. Search and search again without losing hope. You may find sometime a treasure on your way. My heart and my eyes are all devoted to the vision. We light our chalice today as a beacon for all those who search and search again, with sighs and hope and devotion and love in our hearts. May we all find a treasure on our way. I now invite you to rise in body or in spirit and to sing our opening hymn. It's number 361 in your gray or cloth-covered hymnal.
So welcome to First Parish in Bedford, a Unitarian Universalist congregation where we come together every week to change the world and to change ourselves. Don't be afraid of some change is our motto here. In this place dedicated to exploration, to questioning, intellectual and spiritual pluralism. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whether you worship one God, many gods, or no God, you are welcome here. You are welcome here, choir. Good morning. I want to say a special welcome to our visitors this morning in person and on Zoom. We are so glad you are with us today. Here in the sanctuary, you are invited to fill out a blue connection card, which you'll find at the end of the pews. You can give that to one of the ushers during the collection time, and we'll add you to our mailing list. Here is a new thing we have added just this week. In your order of service at the bottom of page 3, you will find 3 QR codes. You can also use those to fill out a connection card, to make a donation to the church, or to connect to some easy-peasy volunteer opportunities. The future is now. If you are on Zoom and you are a visitor, do not fear. We'll put a link in the chat to a form that you can also fill out as a way to get connected. Parents and caregivers of little ones, there's a nursery available downstairs for your convenience, but we are always delighted to have our little ones also here in the space with us as well. And everyone is invited to join us after the service in the common room for coffee, tea, and fellowship. Like last week, one of the tables in the common room today is a specially designated Make a New Friend table, where you are encouraged to strike up a conversation with someone you don't know or don't know very well. There is a deck of cards with like conversation prompts sitting on the table to help get that ball rolling. We have also set up a quiet space upstairs in room 201 as an additional place for conversation and connection. There's coffee service in that room and snacks as well. Okay, we have just a few additional announcements this morning. First, I would like to invite Linda Politz and Jean Kalb up to announce the winners of last night's annual chili cook-off.
In this season of love, last night, there was a whole lot of chili love in the common room. We had
raised $727. We had 13 pots of chili, and we had 63 tasters. That made it all a lot of fun. Thank you all.
And for our categories of best meat, best veggie, hottest chili, best youth, and best in show, I am happy to announce the first place winners. It was a tie for the best meat between Paul Bradford and Mark Bailey. Give it up. The best veggie handily went to Jeff Bradford. Henry Gittins, you're going to hear this name a lot. Henry came in second, just wanted to say. For our hottest chili, the award again goes to the inimitable, Tums-loving Richie Conrad. And can we just say that we have amazing youth in this church? I know that's no surprise, but Henry Gittins, I mean, we are not worthy. Best youth. Thank you, Henry. And finally, best in show, Mark Bailey. Now, I can tell you, all the voting that was done, every single pot, there were 13 pots, everybody got a vote. And the best in show was clearly a hard decision to make. Mark Bailey is a god in my name and my taste buds. And his was the best in show, quickly followed in a three-way tie by Paul Bradford, Jeff Bradford, and Jen Foster. And then, as the next runner-up, again, I told you you'd hear his name a lot, Henry Gittins. All right, yeah, give it up. Thank you, everybody, for your donations.
Thank you, Linda and Jean. And thank you to everyone who came out and made it an amazing evening. The Valentine's Day concert is today at 4 p.m. It is an afternoon of your favorite love songs plus romantic piano and chocolate. It's also a fundraiser for First Parish, so we hope to see you there. And speaking of concerts, we're now going to spotlight our Committee of the Month, which is a new thing we're doing each month so that people can learn more about how the church works and how to get connected. February's Committee of the Month is the Music Committee, and I would like to invite up Bea Bronkhorst and Lisa Toling to tell us a little more about it.
Hi, everyone. I'm Bea. And so, first of all, what does the Music Committee do? Well, according to the charter, we support, advise, and promote excellence in our music program, and also we organize 4 to 6 concerts that bring the community into First Parish. And what have I learned from serving on the music committee? Well, I've really learned how to organize events with publicity, and even learned sign-up genius, and actually how to get a committee to reach consensus. I mean, I think that's a good thing. And how does the music committee serve the life or the mission of First Parish? Well, we foster our internal music programs while raising funds to financially support First Parish. And occasionally we support special causes with a portion of the proceeds from events once we've made our $2,000 pledge for event fundraising for the year. And we provide support and accessibility as needed for church music programs, large print programs, hearing sound system for recording, online access, including better use of audiovisual capabilities. And finally, we bring in programs that that bring in diverse views to help broaden our church community. And so, of course, this is a pitch, will you join us?
So if you're interested in joining the music committee or just volunteering for any of the events, talk to B or I. And now I want to acknowledge some people. So we couldn't do any of this without Brad, our music director. And we also couldn't do this without all the people who volunteer on the music committee. If you're on the music committee, stand up. And we also wouldn't be here without all the people who perform or do music, or we have so many talented people here. If you are singing or you play an instrument, have played or done anything for a concert, stand up. And we couldn't do this without everybody's support. If you love music, you should stand up. So, come to our Valentine's concert. We need an audience, and we need someone to eat all the chocolate things that we have made.
And it won't interrupt the Super Bowl at all. We'll be over before that.
Thank you, B and Lisa. Okay, so I have one more announcement, and this is a big one, and one of those harder things to announce. On Friday, a letter went out to the congregation sharing the news that Lisa Maria, our Director of Faith Development for Children, will be leaving First Parish to pursue new professional opportunities for herself and for her family. We're very happy for Lisa Maria. We're very happy for Lisa Maria, and we're also very sad to see her go. Reverend Annie and I and the board are already making plans to ensure that our religious education programs continue smoothly during this time of change. Lisa Maria is going to help us make all of that go well. If you have any questions about that, please do reach out to me or to Reverend Annie. During coffee hour today, we will have a big cake to say thank you to Lisa Maria and to wish her all the best. There will be a big card that you can sign. Please join us for that special celebration. And in this moment, please, let's just express our appreciation for Lisa Maria. And you all sat down too soon. So now if you will please stand and join in saying our unison affirmation, which we say every Sunday here at First Parish. It is in your order of service. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. El amor es el espíritu de esta iglesia, y el servicio es su ley. Este es nuestro gran pacto, vivir juntos en paz, buscar la verdad en espíritu de amor, y ayudarnos los unos a los otros. Please be seated.
Do my best to get through this, people. But I do want to share a story with you all. It is the story of the Mishmash Heart. Recently, at an event at a Unitarian Universalist congregation, everyone was encouraged to create a heart. They were given some construction paper and some glue, markers, so they could design their own heart. Girl Emily worked very diligently to create the most perfect, beautiful heart she could. It even had glitter in the shape of diamonds all around the outside. As she was helping to clean up, she noticed the heart of one woman who was around the same age as her grandmother, sitting at a nearby table. It was a mishmash mess of odd colors. It had pieces which were ripped, and some were torn and glued kind of wacky on it, and parts of it were wrinkled and crinkled, and there was even a little hole in it. Thinking that there must be something wrong, Emily offered the woman the help to fix it. But the woman smiled, and there's nothing wrong with the heart. It's just all the things that had happened to her in her life. She said there were happy times, the beautiful colors and designs represented when she first met her husband, their wedding, the birth of their children. There were other beautiful parts too, like watching her children take their first steps, riding a bike for the first time, and every sunrise and sunset she had seen. But what about all the rips and tears and wrinkles, Emily asked. Why are they there? Well, those are for the sad times in her life, the woman explained. The time that her best friend was really sick with cancer, and the time someone lied to her and did something that really hurt her feelings, and there was a hole left from when her husband had died. In fact, every time a person comes into my life that I care about, she explained, they take a piece of my heart with them. This was distressing to Emily, thinking of the woman having to give part of her heart away to others. But what happens if you give it all away? You'll be left with nothing. No, I won't, the woman responded, because you see, they all give me a piece of their heart as well. Emily looked down at her beautiful, perfect heart with the glitter and the design she worked so hard to make. Then she looked again at the woman's mishmashed heart, and without hesitation, Emily ripped a piece of her perfect heart and handed it to the woman. And the woman said, "Thank you," as she placed it with her mishmashed heart and tore off a piece of hers for Emily. I love you all so very much. It has been an honor to serve in this community. You have welcomed me and my children with such grace and joy. You are all so wonderful, and I hope to visit in the future when it makes sense. And I will be taking all the hugs that anybody wants to give me, and I want pictures with all of you, and thank you for sharing your heart with me and letting me share mine with you. Now we will sing children and youth out to classes, where I will continue to cry. But please join in singing the children's blessing. The words are in your order of service.
Hello, my name is Lisa Toline, and I'm a member of the Lay Pastoral Care Team. This is the time in our service when you may come up and share a candle of joy or concern. We ask that you please share your name and keep it brief. I will remain by the candle stand after the service, and we will. And so I will light this one last candle to represent those joys and sorrows and cares we hold silent in our hearts. And I will be by the candle stand after the service if you wish to light another candle.
There is a lot to hold in this community. And I know that we have a strong enough love in here to do it. And so holding all the celebrations and the griefs and the challenges and the ways that we come together for one another, the changes that we are always dealing with, and the ways we pull through together, I invite you to give generously to this morning's offering to strengthen this community of care.
Thank you, choir. And thank you, Brad and Steve. It is good to have Dolly here in the sanctuary with us today. Dolly Parton said, "Find out who you are and do it on purpose." And I think that's a fine explanation as any of what we're engaged in here on Sunday morning, to find out who we are and to do it on purpose. This year, we Unitarian Universalists are collectively engaged in the pursuit of just this question. We're engaged in a re-examination of how we talk about the principles and purposes of the Unitarian Universalist Association, otherwise known as the 7 Principles. And these 7 principles have since 1985 defined the covenant or the promise that congregations enter into when they join the UUA. Technically, they live inside Article 2 of the bylaws of the UUA. You know how you store your important religious principles in the bylaws of your Articles of Incorporation, like that. But they're an expression of our collective understanding of who we are and what we want to do and how we want to be together as a religious body. And then many individual Unitarians also understand the 7 principles as the basic expression of what this religion means to them as a personal commitment. Right? They express for many how we live out our Unitarian Universalism, each of us as individuals. So they've come to be a really big deal in the life of our religion. And in those same bylaws where you find the 7 principles, you will find a rule that says that at least every 15 years, all of us together are required to look at those principles and decide if they are still the best expression of who we are and what we want to do and how we want to be together. The 7 principles were never intended to be written in stone. They were never intended to become a creed or an orthodoxy. And so the rule is we have to take them out and look at them again, about once a generation, every 15 years, and decide if they still speak to us. In other words, we're asked at least every 15 years to pause, to reflect, and to once again find out who we are so we can do it on purpose. And the last time that happened was, in fact, in 2010, so we're about right on track for this grand reexamination. The changes proposed in 2010 were relatively modest, and they were rejected. The changes proposed now are fairly radical, and they have passed the first round of voting. So at this year's General Assembly in June, the delegates will vote a second time, and if the changes pass, they will become the new statement of our principles and purposes. And in place of the 7 principles, the new proposal names 6 interconnected, mutually reinforcing values that have been placed visually in a circle: justice, equity, pluralism, generosity, interdependence, and transformation. And at the center of that circle is the 7th value, love. And each month this year, we've been reflecting on these proposed values one at a time. So far, we've talked about love and pluralism, equity and justice, and in February, the value we're talking about is transformation. Now, every 15 years to make room for continued transformation. So next week, Reverend Annie is going to talk about some of the ways that Unitarian Universalism is aspiring to transform itself in this moment, and some of the ways it might be a little bit stuck. We had a conversation on this topic here after the service just a few weeks ago. How do our congregations adapt to a changing world? How might Unitarian Universalism itself need to change? And let me tell you, the room for that conversation was packed. So much so that we ran out of sandwiches. This is a topic you care about a lot. More than sandwiches, some of you. So don't miss next week when we talk about that. But this Sunday, today, I want to talk about the relationship between transformation and love. Because love is in the air, right? With Valentine's Day right around the corner, and love is in the music here at First Parish, and love could even be in the heavens as Taylor Swift flies across the sky from her concert tour in Japan back to Las Vegas to be with Travis Kelce at the Super Bowl. No, it's okay. She landed safely last night. I got an AP News alert about that. But anyway, it's a love kind of day. And as it happens, the Article 2 proposal puts love right at the center of our shared values, which means we are meant to be connecting these things. It's interrelated. When we think about transformation, it should be grounded in love. When we think about love, it should be pointing us towards transformation. And so often it does, right, in powerful ways, because the things we love have a habit of simultaneously calling us outside of ourself and calling us to be our best and bravest self. We love our family, and so we want to protect them. We love our community, and so we want it to thrive. We love our neighbors in the sense of agape love that Dr. King spoke about so often, and so we want to create a just society. We love our earth, so we want to care for it, protect it. We love art or beauty or music, and so we are driven to create and to share. We love to teach, we love to plant, we love to repair, we love to feed people, we love to serve, we love to discover. Whatever it is, when we pay attention to that which we love, when we pay attention to the longings of our hearts, as love storms into our hearts, when we pay attention to the firings of our imagination as we look up at the starry sky, we open ourselves to the power of that same love to change ourselves and to change the world. We open ourselves to transformation. Sometimes in small ways, sometimes in big ways. We might find ourselves opening up a sketch pad for the first time in a long time. We might find ourselves applying for a promotion. We might find ourselves chained to a pipeline. We might find ourselves moving closer to our parents or moving closer to our grandchildren. We might find ourselves proposing. We might find ourselves separating. And the flip side of love leading us to change is that when we change, we sometimes also lose something we love in the process. Sometimes in big ways, sometimes in small ways. And it can be simple there too, like rekindling our childhood love of piano means we have less time for reading or hanging out with our partner, right? There's only so many hours in the day. It can be more complicated. Maybe love calls us to go back to school, but now we're having to adjust the rhythms of our family life. Now other people are involved, and other people are also making trade-offs or experiencing losses of their own. Maybe we're negotiating some of that with our partner or partners or our kids. This was part of my experience of going to seminary, I can tell you, while also working full-time. There were trade-offs that we made as a family so I could do this thing that love was calling me to do. The love part was real, and so were the trade-offs. So love may be calling us on a new job or to a new adventure in a new place, and that means leaving a place we have loved. Love may be calling us to better self-care and better boundaries, and the result is that some relationships in our life need to change or even end because they don't work for who we are becoming. Any of these things, big or small, can cause us to resist that call to growth and transformation. The same love that is calling us to growth and newness may cause us to resist losing whatever we may be losing, because after all, we love those things too. Love can be transformative, but it can also have a conservative energy to it. And there's nothing wrong with being conservative if we think in terms of caring and preserving and protecting, right? Those are good things. Those are good instincts to have. And so it is up to us to decide which way to proceed. We're well served to be honest and realistic about what we're giving up if we set out to change. And if we choose the path of change, knowing that there is associated loss, can we recognize in the experience of that loss another form of love? Can we recognize when love is calling us to let go so that something new can happen? And make space for our grief, and make space for compassion. And if we're making these changes in community, can we make that same space for the grief of others? And can we make that same offer of compassion? Here is a very simple and common example from church life. We love our church community, so much so that we pour tremendous energy and time and resources into it. We tell everyone about it. We do everything we can to help it thrive and grow because we want to share this thing we love with other people. We want other people to experience the good thing we love so much. And then, what do you know? The church does thrive and grow, maybe a lot. And in the process, it changes. And it goes from being that place where everyone knows your name to that place where you don't recognize half the people in the room. And at a certain size, it's no longer a church where it's possible to know everyone. And there is loss in that. There certainly can be. There's no point in pretending there's not. So a longtime member may find that they love that the church is growing, and they are also grieving that they have lost something they love in the process, a certain feeling of family in the church, right? A feeling of being known. This is a really common experience. Congregations go through it. First Parish had its own period of rapid growth in the not too distant past, and there probably was some grief with that, and there may still be. And First Parish actually has room to grow again, and if we do, we may get to experience some of that complexity again. Or maybe it won't be growth, that's the thing. Maybe it's a change in the Sunday service, so we can better serve a more diverse or expanding group of people, so we can serve the people who are not yet in this room. Maybe it is a change in programming, so we can meet the needs of more people. Maybe it is a change in what we choose to prioritize as a community. Right? Changes made with the most loving of intentions still carry the possibility of loss for someone. The thing that you are so glad is now different is the very thing that someone else loved. And we can agree that the change needs to be made, and we can still experience it as a loss. And of course, we don't always agree that a change needs to be made, right? Collective transformation is rarely a process of perfect unanimity. It's something we have to navigate as a community, sometimes with not inconsiderable tension. And the proposed changes to the 7 principles is a great example of that, because some people love the changes and some people very much do not. And if the change is made, some people will experience it as a significant loss in how they understand Unitarian Universalism. And yet other people believe that these changes are one way that love is calling us to create a more inclusive, liberating, vibrant, and transformative vision for our future. Right? We're being invited into a moment of transformation or possible transformation, and it's also a moment of tension. And as we do ministry together over the course of these unfolding years, we will be invited into moments of transformation together that will also be moments of tension, because that's how we do this thing called church, and that's how transformation both calls us into greater love and challenges us. Now, there are a number of things that can help mediate this tension when a community of people find themselves navigating that transformation. Curiosity is one. The biggest one, right? That we take the time to seek out how others are experiencing things. Listening is another, that we not just seek it out, but we actually make room in our hearts to hear it. And compassion is the most important thing, a commitment to kindness and mutual respect. Remembering the covenants we have made with each other is also important. Sometimes there's specific covenants for a group or an activity. Sometimes we just come back to love is the spirit of this church. We come back to our mutual promise to dwell together in peace and to seek the truth in love. As individuals, let us practice paying attention to the yearnings of our heart. Let us practice listening to the whisperings of our spirit in a world that is constantly serving us noisy distractions. And when those whisperings are calling us in a new direction, when those whisperings are calling us to change, when they offer up transformation, let us also have the compassion to acknowledge the loss that is sometimes handed with us to carry along with that promise of love and newness. And as communities, Let us practice wisdom and compassion as we navigate the complex business of loving and letting go. For all of us, let us be open to the power of love in our life, open to the possibility of transformation. It may be that love is calling us on the first steps of some grand new adventure. The journey of love is a very long journey, says the poet, but sometimes with a sigh you can cross that desert. You may find sometime a treasure on your way. May it be so for all of us. Our closing hymn today is number 131, Love Will Guide Us. Please rise in body or spirit. We close today with the words of Theodore Parker, our prophet of the transient and the permanent in liberal religion, that which transforms and that which endures. He said, "Be ours a religion which like sunshine goes everywhere, its temple all space, its shrine the good heart, its creed all truth, its ritual works of love, its profession of faith divine living." Blessed be and amen. Go in peace.
All Expand